our spirit? What is it? Where does it go? Are we able to see them using our mind's eye? If so, just what can spirit teach us? Welcome to School Thru Spirit. Host DeEtte Renee is a certified psychic medium and master teacher of psychic and mediumship development through LWISSD. DeEtte was born knowing spirit and now is here to help you better understand the spirit world. And now your host, DeEtte Renee.
Good Tuesday morning, everybody. Welcome to School Thru Spirit. This morning is our special edition interview. As we all know, I only do this on occasion now. And this morning I brought Miss Kim Woods with me. Kim is a master astrologer. She's just an incredible person who has learned to do the impossible and make it possible. So welcome, Kim.
Thanks, DeEtte. How are you this morning?
Much better now. Guys, I already did this once. I had such a long intro and it never went live. So you missed my wordiness, but you know what? We shortened it, brought Kim straight on to keep my mouth from talking because we all know my mouth doesn't know how to shut up. Bring you Kim.
Yay. Oh my goodness. So the energies right now, DeEtte, how are they feeling?
Oh my God. You know what? I have got an unfair advantage with these energies. Why? Because I have been screwed in the energies since December.
Okay.
And I am a person that literally, you know what? Up until December, people would talk about the energies. I'd be like, are you like a wuss? Can you not handle this? Like barely. I have been knocked off my tush. I have been rolled through the dirt. I have gone through the chamber of transformation, and I'm finally starting to feel like I'm coming through the opposite end of it. I'm feeling good about things. I'm feeling positive, and I'm hoping, even though I was told we've gone into Mercury retrograde, and it is kind of kicking my tush a little bit, but not like it has. So I'm hoping these are all positive energies, and they're not just going.
Yeah, Schools Thru Spirit. I love the title.
I love it.
I love the title because schooled, right? Schooled.
Yes. That's just, and that's where, and everybody was like, oh my gosh, like even when I misspelled through, and I'm like, that was intentional because I want to get through it fast.
Okay.
I don't know anybody that ever started kindergarten that went, I love it. I want to stay here forever.
Yeah.
We put these goals. We want to get through it. We never get through it fast enough, and thank goodness there's always another classroom for us to walk into, because we can get that. Oh my gosh, I'm excited. Oh my gosh, is this ever going to get over with? Oh my gosh, where's the next journey?
Absolutely.
And Spirit hands it to us. Even if you don't go to college, Spirit's going to hand it to you your whole entire life.
Absolutely. One after the other. Just keep going. Yeah.
And to bring on people like, yourself and other people in this beautiful world and all the different industries, because I have yet to find a person that Spirit did not come into their lives somewhere and give that one moment that says, let's get you on the next path. I'm not going to say the correct path. I will never say the correct path because I think every path is the correct path because it all leads up to today.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's time to say it's ready, Spirit will come in and give whatever sign it is or do whatever it has to take to say, let's put you on this one now. Let's go and take all your past experience and make your life rock.
Sorry about that. I'm having background. Okay, sorry. So Mercury retrograde, man. So yes. Yeah. I just need to send a text because I
feel free.
Home and they're playing music where they're not supposed to.
I get it. I got grandkids on the other side of this door.
Yeah.
So that was the whole premise behind School Thru Spirit, because that was the biggest question everybody has always asked me. DeEtte, oh my God, how did you get to doing what you do today? Well, trust me, it wasn't by accident and it wasn't what I was expecting to do.
Oh, 100%.
I am.
I mean, 100%. So, moments, right? Like moments in time that you can remember. Sometimes spirit is sneaky, right? Sometimes it whispers, sometimes it gives you a little nudge. Those are my favorite times because that means I'm not going to get whacked upside the head and knocked all over, right? But those knockout times, I always feel like, I mean, of course you look back and you say, thank goodness that happened, that had such a pivotal moment in my life. But while you're going through it,
Yeah.
it is not necessarily the smoothest, the most graceful, I don't even want to use the word easy because that is never in that really context, right?
Right.
But again, I always say that spirit and the soul and the stars have our best interest at heart, like they're conspiring for us, but it's our mind that won't accept it, right? Like our
Right.
mind's like, oh, but wait, I don't know this yet. This is unfamiliar. It's uncomfortable. I don't like this. That's when you know you're going through the greatest growth.
Yeah. And this year's been it. And I
Yeah.
will tell you, I know you do astrology, but I have a numerologist I know, and I love her dearly. And when I went through my year of eights, which is kind of like a hard year, whatever, I went through it twice because I didn't realize I was in an 8. And she had said you're in an 8. And then the next year I kept the intention that I was still in the 8. Don't ask me why. I got to the end of the 8. She's like, yeah, you've been in 9. I said, well, it sure feels like 8. She goes, because intentionally you put it out there.
The 100%. And I will say the 9 coming after the 8 is it's all intent. Like there's such a sophistication with the numerology. There's such a sophistication and elegance with the universe, right? So when the 9 comes, it amplifies the 8.
Right.
So that's its job, right? So,
Right.
and the 8, in our mind, if we've done any sort of peaking with the 8, we're going to say, oh, blessings, infinity, abundance. That's what we're going to say. The
Right.
8 is all about strength and it's about balance, not imbalance and stillness, but balance in that beautiful flow back and forth, right? So you can think of the back and forth of what? Dark and light, yes and no, yin and yang, easy and hard, right? Like, so it's that back and forth. You're constantly like this. And we in the collective are in an 8 year right now.
Yeah.
So that's when everybody started the year and they're like, yay. And I had said, yes, and let's make sure that we can navigate that flow, that we can understand and appreciate the different sides of things, the different aspects, like this is all about, you can see title here, New Era. It's all about being able to dance with spirit and being human.
Right.
Be able to dance with the yin of the feminine and the yang of the masculine, to be able to dance with the unknown and the known, with the familiar and the unfamiliar, with our mind and our heart. I mean, there's so many different ways that we can look at this. And when we can say that we're in the flow,
right.
Oh, we breathe easier and we feel like there's just tweaks and adjustments. When we're destabilized and we're going through a massive either transformation or pivot, that's when our minds run amok.
Right.
And that's where we want to hold on so tightly. We want to rail against that change. And yet, guess what? The soul's always going to win. It's always going to win.
Oh, and it is. And I think, honestly, I intentionally did that to myself because I went 2 8 years and straight into this year, which was a 1 year for me.
Okay.
With all of these
nice.
You're like, nice. It was not nice, Kim. It has not been nice.
Perspective. Here we are in the middle of August, right? So
I'm going to look back and go, oh, that was beautiful. I get it in like 10 years.
Yeah, right? I know. That's the thing. I mean, so when I look at my moments and I can say, like, this, you remember those big, massive moments in time. You don't really remember those smaller adjustment periods, right? But yet they always precede and they'll always follow. So that's the beauty of it, right? So when you get that big, massive, like this year, like this massive pivot, you can say, oh, you know what? I did know about this. I got the inkling, I'm going to make this up last summer. I got the inkling last fall, whatever. But it's hindsight's 2020, right? Like you can say, oh, this is why it happened, versus when you're going through those minor phases, you're not really thinking about, oh, well, I'm just going to take this little tiny envelope opening and I'm going to crack it open. Who signs up for that? Oh, some of us do. Some of us do. Once we've learned that this is what the yumminess is, this is what the deliciousness is after, then we'll say, okay, I'm just going to bust this wide open. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. And I know that's what I did, and I didn't even realize it. I was one of those people that tattooed my Reiki symbols down the back of my spine because I was sick and tired of doing this,
Yeah.
way after I quit doing Reiki on a regular basis. But I have the yod at the very top of my neck, which is one of the Reiki symbols. I had no clue it was an astrology symbol.
Yes.
And there's another astrologers out there I know that who I just met. My hair was up. She goes, "Why do you have a yod on you? Do you know what that is?" I said, "Yeah, it's God within." She goes, "Oh, no, no, no." And I went, "Oh, what?" She goes, "Oh, let me see." And she grabbed my birthday and everything. She goes, "Oh, yeah, you screwed yourself." I went, "What?" She goes, "You got yods in your chart. You have had a life, haven't you?" I went, she goes, "Don't worry. It might look bad, but you did this on purpose. It's okay."
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
So I'm looking at this life when you're looking at astrology is that moment where you're this transformational of your soul.
Oh, absolutely. Because I personally believe that our souls are the drivers, right? Even though our mind sucks up all the oxygen here in life, I mean, let's be perfectly clear. The mind is like blah 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 blah, right? But once you can quiet it a little bit and you can sink into your soul, and that's spirit talking to you, and that's getting your inner guidance or what have you. We have daily life. We have emails to check. We have computers that don't work or what have you, right? We have errands to do, and so being able to take those moments and take those pockets and say, okay, wait, I am going to put some concrete, methods here, whether they're oracle cards or a pendulum or the stars or what have you, because the soul is our inner guidance, right? And our mind is the one that takes us and just does whatever to make decisions, but our soul's always going to recalibrate us.
Yeah.
And it depends on where our trajectory is, and it depends on where our next big moment is to say, is it going to be a minor nudge or a massive one?
Right. So how do you help people with that? I mean, I know you said you're a master astrologer, and I know you do other things to combine it all together. You know what I mean? So I want to backtrack a little bit, only so people go, "Oh my God, who's Jan talking to?" You know what I mean? Great show, but who was she? And why should we trust her? How do you take astrology and again, let's track back those little bits of you that you do to bring it all together to be able to know this stuff.
Absolutely. So, my background is in business strategy. I've done that. I've been in C-suite, boardrooms for 25 years. So great. Table that. So when I was knocked around by spirit and a big, huge clobber was back in the year 2000, pregnant with my firstborn, and he ended up having massive developmental issues.
Wow.
And so this was me. I could have corporate, all the things, but I knew deep down, this is where you have that instinct. I knew deep down that, oh my goodness, if I did this, I am going to be shattering somebody else's soul, right? Like, I mean, as a mom, I just knew that. So I, dropped everything and said, okay, we're roll up the sleeves. We're going to be able to tackle this. And I needed to do it in a very mixed way, in that Western method, Western medicine, but Eastern practice, Eastern philosophy. And at the time, that was my schooling. That was my huge, super highway of, I have this many certifications, Reiki Mastery being only one of them. Because I realized we are here as souls, and there's so many things that are in the subconscious. There's so many things we're not knowledgeable about. We're like this iceberg that you can only see this much over the waterline, and really all of the healing facilitation comes underneath that. And so for me to just come up with skills, strategies, workarounds, that wasn't going to be what I wanted to do for him. Asked his soul. Yep, he was in it. We did massive healing on him, and he's completely fine now. He did in fact just graduate from college. He's looking for a job. He's just completely, you would have no idea. You have no idea that when he was 2, stood with an electric toothbrush, like in the bathroom of a little Montessori school that I knew was really good for him for 6 months.
Wow.
I mean, so when the teachers saw him like at 5 and at 8, really developing, really coming out of this, everybody was like, oh my goodness. And so my work from, transition from pure business to what I do now came in the form of writing children's books and helping children with that brain body connection. And then came to be like, wait a minute, if this was so transformational in this way, wouldn't it be transformational for other people? In their lives and business? The answer was heck to the yes, right? Yes. And so then I was like, well, like most people on this path, I had a million different modalities I could use.
Right. Oh God,
right?
so
Right?
many out there.
So many. And when you're on the you just kind of gobble them up. You're in this big gathering phase, which is
Yeah.
fun and yet confusing.
Right.
So transition, like next phase was me then teaching about all them and like, really bringing people under my wing and doing that mentoring on the spiritual side, on that magical side to fully develop it. I needed it to be equal, talking about that balance. I had so much business experience. I needed to bring up my intuitive experience to match so that I could then weave them. And
Right.
Saturn came, kind of beat the crap out of me in the teens of the 20s. And it was like, you're going to base everything on astrology. And I was kind of like, wait, what? How do I do that? It actually was a huge gift because astrology is more objective.
It is.
It's
so hard.
right.
It is so hard. I tell people, oh my God, it is so hard.
Yeah, no. True that, right? Yeah. I mean, I went on a 5-year odyssey of sitting at someone's knee, and like he was my mentor, and I flew out to San Diego every 10 minutes to take massive classes, right? And so it took me like the bulk of those, 10 to 20, like to be able to get the astrology to be at the point where I was so facile as it. My husband said it best. He's like, you don't want to just be a cook reading a recipe. You want to be a chef, knowing how all the flavors work. And that's exactly true. Once I did that, everything became clear because I can walk into the stars of the minute somebody's born. And what I was saying before, it's the soul chooses, right? So that's our destiny. We have free will, but that's our destiny. And so I can literally open up somebody's full potential, download all their healing codes, get under the covers, get to the root of things. Because that's one thing I couldn't do in business. I could come up with solutions and workarounds and skills and all that stuff, but I couldn't get to the root of, do you have a money block? Are you absolutely in your power so that you are unwavering in it? How do you then, like interact with your marketplace? How do you interact with your personal life versus your business life? The stars give me that full 360 degrees, like known, unknown. And then that becomes our guidance. Mm-hmm. And so underneath that guidance, I can then, and I've always done this, kind of download your business model, make sure it adheres and it aligns to your soul mission. That's what I do.
That's incredible. I'm going to have to come to you for a reading. I'm telling you, I'm going to have to just come to Kim, because it seems it can really help you in everyday life. I know for myself, excuse me, I hear my throat chakras going, yeah, with this, it's always my good indicator here. Because no matter what I do, I know for myself, I always come to that spot where I block myself. I know there's this internal block. And I'm always like, how am I going to get through it? You don't even know what it is. You just know something stops you, and I know this year I'm in this period of, I'm going to push through it. I'm going to push through it. I don't care what it is. I don't want, it's not that I don't want to know, but unknowing what it is, I'm going to push through this. I'm going to get this baby behind me one way or another, but I'm sure it'd be easy. I'm sure it'd be easy.
my throat right now is so clogged. We're going to take a moment.
I know. Thank you. That's how I know you're gifted, is because when you can feel my throat, because that's what I do with people. I feel their throat. I'm like, oh God. Yeah. But it really does. It helps when you have that knowledge, when you have that understanding to go, why is this? What is this? What's the for of it? And for somebody to give that to you, to say, hey, here it is. This is what you need. Now, what you do with it is up to you. What you do with it is totally in your hands.
100%. And for me, I'll be honest with you, I actually put people in containers so that I can help usher them and be with them and guide them, because transformation is no joke, right? So, having a support system, or if I do something with someone, if it's a one-off, then I want to make sure they have the support system, like you would have the support system, right? So, because what my thing is, this was a little bit of a pet peeve of mine, who I adored, my astrologer. Oh my goodness, like absolutely 1,000,000%. Her advice was always amazing. But I was left to it, and I'd be like, okay, what does that mean? I was told back in like, I don't even know, 2005-ish, circa time, 15 years or 20 years ago, you're a liberator. People are going to come to you and they're going to have done a ton of other things, but you're going to be able to just unlock, and then you're going to be able to set them on the right path. Now I can say, and I'm just getting chills. Now I can say, oh, yes, of course. Then I was traditional business strategy. And I'm thinking, okay, yes, I am with the executive leaders. Okay. So intellectually, I could kind of say intelligently, reasonably, like, absolutely not. Honestly, it probably wasn't until 2020 where I realized what that meant. I don't want people to have to go through 15 years of like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where to find it. I would love to give them options, right? You can do it this way. We can do it that way. We can do it this way. You get to choose, because it's always about free will, which is luscious.
Right. Oh, and I completely get that, because that's where I, and I'm sure many other people sit at. You get either a reading or astrology or numerology, because there's so much out there. There really
So
is.
many beautiful divination
Oh
systems.
gosh, yes.
Absolutely.
But I have been I'm going to say, why am I struggling this morning? Oh my gosh. So much truth. I'm fighting my truth, aren't I?
Can we do a ritual? Would you mind if we
Let's
stop?
do it. Let's do it, because I don't want to feel this anymore.
Yeah, 100%. Are you
It's
good?
almost
Do you
like
do
I'm
this
talking
here?
about to be successful. I'm going, no.
I know. Well, there's a whole hiding thing. We're going to go into a whole hiding thing in a minute, but
Okay,
do you mind if
everybody do it with us?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Okay. So just received yet. Just literally just receive. You're completely safe. This is your space. You created luscious sanctuary and connection with beautiful souls. And let's feel, I can't feel your like lower extremities. Let's feel your hips and your quads. There we go. And your knees. This is for everybody. And their shins and calves. Let's go down into the feet. Let's feel the weightedness of your body. Your body is so beautiful. It's so filled with potential and energy and reserves. Let's let the body take a moment and just bask in being alive. And with that, let's go to the breath of life. Let's go to your beautiful lungs. Let's take those inhales and those exhales with nice grace and softness and ease. This is a time, yes, of course, there's an ignition here. There's a yes. And your body knows it. Your heart is singing with it. And your soul is whispering it to you. Yes. And what does that yes look like? Let's ask. Is that yes right before you immediate? Is the yes big and huge and loud? Is it a soft whisper or an inkling? And is it about your work and what's a path right in front of you and all about success? Or is it something about love and being nurtured and supported? Another way to say this, are you sipping from the sun to illuminate out in the world? And is it an outer life expression? Or are you basking with the moon? That's an inner deep yearning and desire just for you. There's no wrong answer. Could be both. And so with that, we go back to our breath, breathing in beautifully, knowing that it's such a gift to be alive here in the present, excited about our future, and really honoring of our past, for it's the pathway that brought us here, and all is in right timing. And we ask that right trajectory just for us presents itself, maybe with a person or a conversation or a whisper or a big nudge, whatever we're yearning for. And we are going to go through the chakras. I'm going to go up from the root, beautifully seated right here on earth, so stable and peaceful. That full physical manifestation of that beautiful root chakra. Going into the sacral of creation with that beautiful 8, that figure 8 horizontally. You can picture it with that divine feminine in the left hip, the divine masculine in the right hip. It makes you that beautiful balance and flow of the inner life in the outer world, creating the life that you desire. Going up through the hara point to the solar plexus. Oh, there's the echo chamber of how you ripple out into the world and how you radiate your brilliance. Yes, we say yes. Going up to that beautiful heart where heaven meets earth, the soul meets the body, the dark meets the light. Yes, we nurture ourselves beautifully, taking our time, being fully compassionate. And we also have those desirous yearnings to say yes and reach out and connect with others. This is what makes us being human. Let's let that interconnective web start to form with those who have our best interests at heart. Those are in right timing. and right direction. Then we go to the beautiful throat chakra, that center of well-being, where we receive the messages, we receive the signals, but we're allowed to express ourselves in our fullness and our authenticity. This is where the soul comes to speak, to be alive, to vibrate out and resonate into the world. Going into that beautiful third eye, that all-seeing eye, third eye wide open, front and back, third eye wide open, where we receive that ancient wisdom of who we are and who we're meant to be, but we're plugged into the advanced technologies to be a conduit, as above, so below, as within, so without. Going up into that luscious crown chakra, connecting to our higher selves, up through that soul star, up through the celestial gateway. And we open ourselves to the truth of who we are, and let that beautiful waterfall wash of white, brilliant light of our soul self, our magical self, our higher being, come through with those beautiful golden nuggets and those silver threads of creation. And they awash us all the way down our chakras to the core of our body and all through our auric layers all around us, tucking us in, helping us keep us safe and connected and knowing that we belong, so that we can go forth with our unique brilliance, our original work on our soul path. Yes, we say yes. Yes to the yes. And with that, we're going to leave this state of being. We're going to come back to our space. And if we have a challenging day ahead or we have some things to do, we can close that energy by giving ourselves a nice big hug, putting our hands on our heart, wiggling our hands, fingers, and our toes. If we want to keep this energy open, we are invited to do so. Because with smoothness, ease, and grace, we are walking our path forward, allowing ourselves to be surprised and delighted and in the state of wonder of what's going to happen next. Yes, we say yes. And with that, yes.
How beautiful. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And I want to express what people didn't see on this side. When you said, I can't feel your lower, I can't feel your hips, my legs were crossed. So I know when you cross legs or things, you cross energy. So the moment I uncrossed him, you went, I can feel them now. I was like, she's How beautiful is that? How beautiful. Thank you so much. And this feels so much better.
Good.
Thank you. Thank you.
And it felt like a solar plexus energy that was like radiating, but not fully coming out. Yeah. If you don't mind my sharing that. So, I don't usually go up from the root and I usually go down from it's just a thing. I mean, I'm a cosmic girl, right? So, but for you were like, no. We are starting at the root, baby. We are going from the root up, which just felt wonderful.
Right. And it did for me, because I will tell you what, you got into my yang, going back and forth, and I was swaying. And then you got to this and you echoed out and I went, nope.
Yeah. It was like, it was like hell's to the no.
Nope. And it was almost like, there's a fear in there. There's a fear. That's how it felt like to me. Like, you're afraid to scream out, hey, here I am.
Well, think about it, right? Like, I mean, because we're going to go into hiding a little bit, because I had said that before the ritual, if you don't mind. Yeah. And that is, I mean, oh my God, so many hiding. Like, how didn't I hide? How am I not hiding now? Literally, Deanne, I can tell that there's a major shift for me coming, because Facebook has kicked me off inexplicably. We don't know why. My email doesn't work. I got kicked out of Zoom. I mean, it was like, oh, okay. So apparently I'm hiding, right? And so the universe shows us, right? So for me, it was a million different ways. For me to come out of the spiritual closet took me 5-6 years. I mean, it took a while, right? I was peeking and then I'd go back in, I'd peek again, I'd go back in. Terrified to come out and say, I'm a master astrologer. Terrified to come out to say, I know the intuitive realm. I operate in the intuitive realm. Why? Well, think about it. There's been persecution. There's been so many ways that it has been unsafe. And this is one of the things. I mean, I went into safety so much in this and created sanctuary and sense of belonging, and then left that energy there. the good news is so many more lights are turning on that we have good company, right? Like,
Yeah.
but I will say we're still on that leading edge of it. We're still, we're still in that like visionary, like it's like up on a mountaintop. There's light signals up there, but it doesn't have that full wash of the mainstream of everybody saying yes. What I'm knowing full well is that in just a few years, the things that we do are going to be as mainstream as getting a massage.
Mm-hmm. They are.
That's
They
so
are.
delicious. I mean, it's so wonderful.
Isn't it? I was just talking to somebody, not that long ago about this whole 5D thing. And they're like, we're never going to get to 5D in this lifetime. Well, we're not in this lifetime. But the beauty is we're starting it. The seeds have been planted.
Yeah.
We're watering them right now. You know what? The seeds are in, they're planted, we're watering. Is it going to take a generation or two? Maybe. But
that's
we're
okay.
Starting, and which is a far cry. I mean, and we've done this in 2,000 plus years. You know what I mean? 2,000.
Yeah.
I mean, and everybody thinks, oh my God, 2,000 years. Really, when I said that, it didn't feel long. It felt so short. Like we did this in 2 minutes because honestly, 2,000 years. And granted, we are much older than that, but we're only registering the time here.
Yeah,
it's a short time to go from maybe not having a language 3,000 years ago, not having fire, walking on all fours maybe, to where we are today, to going into that, let's say, heaven on earth, which really is pure love and understanding and growth, and being able to fully be a soul in all the soul capacities in the body and not having this back and forth trajectory because of the mind.
Right. I know.
Into the 5D. To me, that is glorious.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I know we have a lot of people out there writing about it, masters of it, but very few are ever going to be a master in this lifetime. But the excitement of starting it
is amazing. And I will say, from an astrological perspective, when you look at the stars, always, the stars are a reflection of who we are. When we are ready to receive information or receive an energy, all of a sudden we'll have a discovery. Like Pluto was discovered in 1930. It's not like Pluto was never there, right? It's just we were able then to accept that energy, right? So that's super exciting. 1977, we had Chiron. So there's that subconscious with Pluto, and then there's that wounded healer. That's the ability to heal with Chiron. This is so exciting, right? Like amazing. And honestly, at the end of 2020, we went out and the stars said, we are going to open you up from a personal perspective to be able to accept how to live in the new era. What does that mean? We have a soul. That also means we can do healing, because we can facilitate our own healing. Someone can sit in front of us and help us, but we're the operators of our healing. We can start speaking to the magical realms here on earth, the animals, the plants, the crystals. There have been many that have done it, but now there's the opportunity for the masses. This is such an exciting time to be alive.
I love it. And, I'm going to take us back a few years with this, only because, the pandemic is not that far behind us. It really is just yesterday. I know everybody went, okay, yes, we had a virus. Yes, we have all that. And no, it wasn't a joke in any way, shape, or form. And it's so sad what has happened with it physically. But when I look at the healing, the going into our cocoons, being forced into our cocoons, literally forced, like you were going to cocoon up, whether you like it or not. It's like a mommy putting a baby into her bassinet to go to sleep, and you bundled her tight and you said, shut off the lights and shut up, kid, go to sleep. You know what I mean? Exactly. And that's basically what happened to us. It forced us to cocoon, to look at to go stir crazy, to look within ourselves, look without, outside of ourselves, and to become something that we never thought we could be.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. It was such a gift from the universe, because that could have been cataclysmic. Honestly, the energies through the stars, it was like, whoa. I was in 2010, I was looking, everybody was talking about 2012 in the Mayan calendar. I was like, that's not, for me, that wasn't a thing. I'm not saying we didn't have energy shifts there. We did. We beautifully did. But from an astrological perspective, I was always looking at 2020. I was like, wait for it, wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. It was the kindest way that the shift could have happened. It was a big hug from Mother Earth.
Yeah. And I know for myself personally, I literally, the year prior, 2019, I struggled with quitting my job as a nurse. I went, and I was agency, so I could work as I wanted to. I
Yeah.
went down to 1 shift a month and went, I can't give up my lifeline. You know what I mean? Because it was that
Mhm.
struggle. And I literally, February 10th of 2020, I retired. That was my last shift. I retired from nursing and was like, I'm going to go into full-time leadership. And this was after 2 months prior. Spirit told me not to schedule a single event for 2020. I went, no, this is my livelihood. And I finally,
Yeah.
I fight with my guides. I fight like everybody else does. I agreed to half. They laughed at me.
Yeah.
I agreed to half. They told me which half did not sign up for or to back out of. I did. They humored me. You know what? 2 months later, literally almost to the day, I'm retiring, going, okay, I'm doing this with half the events. Let's make this happen. And then COVID hit literally a week and a half later.
Amazing.
And I went, oh, and they went, you're not going back. You
Yeah.
are not going back. I went,
Okay.
I surrender. I don't know what
Yeah.
I'm surrendering to, but I surrender. Here we go. You know, and that's hard. That was hard for a lot of people. You know,
So it was so interesting because I'm looking at the stars and I was saying to people in 2019, it's going to be much easier to do changes now than it will be next year. You know, like this year we have choice, next year we won't, whatever. And, you know, we can only, you can only accept what you can accept, right?
Right.
For me, that summer of 2019, I got schooled. Like, Doug, this is why I loved your word, school through spirit. Oh, yeah. I got so schooled. I got so schooled. Guides were like, stop playing around. I delivered 80 magical classes. I mean, I was doing tons of work, right? Like I was doing tons of work. I hadn't stepped into my authority. I was still hiding. I was like, you know, I hadn't had a presence online. I wasn't really moving out into the world the way I needed to, you know, whatever the form is, right?
Right.
Like you, I was like, schooled, like literally relentlessly that whole summer. I called 2018 the summer of epic fails. 2019, I called it like, okay, I'm trying to get a clue. It was the summer. I mean, it was the fall of 2019 that at the minute I accepted, all right, yes, I understand. I appreciate. I will take my seat at the master's table. I know what I'm supposed to be doing. Please help guide me. Please help support. I did a massive shift on everything, the way I worked, how I presented myself, how I was willing to say yes and come out of hiding, like all the things. And so, yeah, I mean, that was one of those big, big pivotal moments. I think most of us can look back on that time and say that.
Yeah, but and I don't think people realize how they hide. You know, like I know for me personally, people will say you are the most out there person there is. I am. I really stand out there, but I hide all the time. I hide from, oh, don't let them know about the past people in my life. Don't let them know about this. I'm hiding under somebody else's tutelage, you know, my master teacher going, oh, I'm not as good as her. This year has been a screw this, forget that. You're going to stand on your own 2 feet. Stop, you know, using other people as you work under them when really you're a master yourself.
Absolutely.
And show up and just show up.
Yes.
Which there's been a lot of this throat chakra that I think we just got rid of. You know what I mean? Because I can't believe I didn't just choke through that, you know, but to come out and people don't realize that you can hide in plain sight.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I was doing all these things. I had at that point, I don't know, 5 or 6 books. I don't even know what number I was on. You know, so I was like, what are you talking about? And yet when I look back, so what I ended up doing every single morning for over a year, how am I hiding? I just asked that question. How am I hiding? Oh, obfuscation, not being clear. I still do it. I still do it I'm not a gazelle in the marketplace online, right? Like I don't fully have things like it's totally clear. You can just one click button. I'm always challenged with technology. You know, I mean, there's just so many things that you can, it's like a veil. You just it's like an onion, you know, you can just peel away the layer. You know, it's interesting in one of my programs, in September, because it's energies will support it, we're doing visibility. And what I talk to them about is like showing up. And we always think, okay, we need to go live or we need to have a big, you know, event or something like that. Yes, that's only part of it. You hit on it yet. It's like when you're how many intuitive people do we know that say, oh, I have this modality, that modality, this modality, that modality. In what other industry does anybody tell you what courses they've taken?
Exactly.
None.
That's exactly it. It's like, really?
Yeah. No, 100%. So I
Yeah.
will stand there and my head will explode when I'm in a room of such gifted people. Like their value is so incredible. And they'll say, like, I do this, I do that. I'm like, and I literally with my people, I'm like, no,
Yeah.
what results do you get? What is your title? How do you own that? Another way that we hide is value.
Mhm.
I'm going to charge, it's going to be free. There's more free, unbelievably life-altering material in this industry. And when I say this industry, I mean the intuitive industry than anywhere else.
Yeah.
Do you think that someone who has a Harvard degree that works for like McKinsey Consulting is going to give all of their free gifts to people and
Never.
then say, I can't really charge you for that?
Never.
Never going to happen.
No,
No,
not at all.
no.
And I will even say I'm my state license, because for my business, they're like, what are you selling? Information. Information. And it was hard because in my field, because there's no science behind it, it's considered entertainment.
I
And
know.
I would
I
be like,
know.
I know I have to legally work within that constraints of entertainment, but then I put other. Well, what's your other? I sell information. That's what I do because what I have is valuable.
Mm-hmm.
I would never go to my very gifted surgeon, very gifted, because they have got a lot of school. They have got a lot of knowledge, but it is a gift to hold your hand steady. It is a gift to be able to retain everything in a moment's notice.
Yeah.
And ask him, can you do this for free? Can you do this for a discount? No.
100%, 100%.
No.
So that for me, so ask me how I was hiding. That was one of the ways. I was, still doing business consulting because that was my runway, charging, whatever my rates were. I had 20 years of experience, blah, 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 all these results. Magic, $125. I was like, what is happening right now? Right. I have gone through a 20-year odyssey, right? And lifetimes. And here I am. Why am I the first one to devalue what I do?
Right.
So that's the first thing I did was I equalized them. And I said, how could I possibly, say to myself that when I'm channeling without any agenda whatsoever, and I fully connected to the other person and I only have their best interest at heart, and I am opening up their full potential and I'm channeling the voice of their soul, I'm sorry, I didn't read a book for that.
Right.
That
Exactly.
took a ton of practice and angst and quaking in my boots and questioning myself as I time walk, and I just go through people's lifetimes and say, which ones do they need to know about right now? What would be the most helpful for them? Or I'm in for the ancestry and talking to the ancestors. What would be most helpful for them right now without agenda, right? And just pure open heart and pure open energy. Again, it was infinitely easier for me to get my MBA while I was working 70 hours a week.
Well, it is, because I don't know about you, but when I went to nursing school, in no way, shape, or form did I have to work on myself.
Exactly.
Not at one. You know what? And I will tell you, as a little thing here, because, I went to school to be an RN. That's what I went to school for. I went through my first year twice, 120 credits, 6.5 years of college. And when I got to the last day that I was in school, my instructor failed me. And I said, I got straight A's. You didn't fault me on anything. How are you failing me? And she literally looked at me. She goes, because you walk into a room with a patient and you know the answers before you ever have to ask the questions. And I went, that's a bad thing? And she goes, think you need to go figure that one out. Instead of figuring it out, I switched to a school, got my LPN, and quit college. That's what
I just got chills to you.
I quit college and I went, forget this. I give up. I quit. Ugh. There's no LPNs out there that have as much college degree as I got. You know what I mean? It's a lot. But it took me 20 years. 20 years. And I can tell people, 21 years on the floor, but 20 years to figure out I needed to walk away from it. I never had a code. I never had an emergency. I always felt it. I would see my patient. I would feel something in my body. I would know what it was. I'd be able to walk into the room with the right equipment to check what I needed to check. And a lot of times Exactly. Like if I felt a person and I felt that I knew they were diabetic and I was hearing blood sugar, I would grab, my glucometer. I would literally grab insulin, or I would grab, fruit or something to walk into that room with. So literally I'd check it, figure it out, do exactly what I need to right there on the spot and walk away. But that was always my abilities. That had
Right.
nothing to do with skill. But
Yeah.
not in 21 years did I ever work on myself, because I never had to, because nobody looked at me and said, you have this amazing ability. I truly feel you need to go here,
Right.
not where you're going, because nobody guides you to this. But when I started this, holy cow, has it been hell? Because now you have to work on this.
It is literally, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
can I possibly stop? Yeah, no,
Yeah.
100%.
And it doesn't quit. The minute you go, and I really have gotten to hate that whole onion thing, the peeling the onion away, because it comes with tears and frustration and agony. And by the time you get to it, gosh, there's more. And then there's a skin. I mean, I hate that analogy, because we're never going to get to this, because it's going to take, well, we will. It's just going to take lifetimes,
Yeah.
But truly, about the time you're going, this is great, there's going to be another level. And we're bringing that to the table, another level of us, another level of understanding, and then have to stand there in front of the client and say, and I'm still not understanding everything, but this is where we're at today.
Oh, 100%. So for me, the more I know, the more I realize I don't know, right? Because I don't know anything. So that's for me. When I'm in the potential world, it's the unknown. It hasn't happened yet, right? Like, so I'm in the abyss. And what I always say is, if I am not standing at the outermost edge of that expansive, whatever range, then I can't open that up with you.
Right.
Because if I'm limiting myself, then you're going to be limited by my limits. So I am constantly like opening myself up and saying, like, okay, what else is possible? What is the potential? Like, I live in the wondrous state. For me, the magic is in the questions. It's not in the answers. Right. So I have a dear friend. She's just is like, as attuned as we are to yet. And anytime it comes out of her mouth, like, we've made it, I'm like, stop talking. I was like, stop.
We haven't made it.
Yeah. The minute you do, whoosh, then ass over tea kettle, you're going to be like off in another chaos realm, right? So So we were talking this weekend. There's a big star configuration this week, and I was like,
oh, there is, isn't there? I knew it. Freaking knew it.
There is. It is. We're getting feedback. Do you hear that?
I don't.
Okay, then I'm good. If you don't hear, I'm good. So there is a very complicated energy right now that, as a collective, we're coming into our social purpose. So, social purpose, you think of like, how what are our belief systems, our values, how we want to operate, how we want to be integrated. Let's just say a kind word, right? And so it's we're being, and I love the word school, so I'm going to use it again. We're being schooled to make mature and responsible choices. And this is going to last until June of 2025. And so there's going to be those of us who are like, leaning into that limit, leaning into that constraint, like really figuring it out and saying, okay, how can we come to be more of ourselves? That's really what it is all about. Like, how can we come to be more aligned with ourselves, more in communion with us? Because when we are, then we can be in communion with others in a really, really deep way. And then there'll be those that say, I am absolutely not doing this. I'm checking out. I don't want to operate in this way. And that could mean very different things. It could mean that they then, start rabble rousing a little bit, like in any way, shape, or form, or they literally say no. Like the soul says, I don't want to do this anymore.
Right. So this is a big week.
Big week, because it's the opening. I mean, I have seen it as very chaos oriented. I woke up this morning saying, because we have free will, right? So we can, and I've asked every single human I know, and I know there's millions of other people out there just saying, okay, really, really anchor, really be unwavering, be that light, ensure that as above, so below, kind of make sure that there is as much rippling of the intuitive, spacious soul orientation as possible.
Right. That's a great way to put it, because I know for myself, that's going to help me tremendously or dramatically. We'll take both.
Yeah.
Because for the last couple of months, I have got some major things this fall, and it starts with this week. And I've
Ooh.
had this nervous energy going, can I do this? Can I do this? What's going? I don't know what this is. I can't figure this out. And I know it starts this week at this major event I'm at. And I know and my whole center is just going, yes, yes. Now I'm screaming yes. You know what I mean? It's still nervous, but it's like this ball going, are we ready? Are we ready? You know? And I knew as long as I can get through this first weekend, this first long weekend, and I can go and say yes to all of it.
Yeah.
It's going to make the rest of it easy.
It's because once you crack that opening, right? So it's yes with that understanding of the import of it. So I'm just going to tell a short story if I have time.
Please
so
do.
It was back in like 2017, 2018, somewhere in there. It was the solstice. It was in the summer for me. And I was going to go live, my own first live. Because like you, it was like, I was doing lives with other people, but I wasn't really doing it myself and what have you, right? So I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. This dear friend that I was just telling you about, I was like, you need to come over. She's like, why? I'm like, I need you here. I don't know why. Hyperventilating, like freaking out like a crazy person, right? She literally sticks my head between my legs. She's like, breathe, right? And I'm like, so then I go live, I end up like sorting myself. I end up going live and she's sitting there. She's like, oh my God, that was amazing. Did a guided meditation, did whatever I did, right? Pixelated. Want to know how you're hiding? Pixelated. Literally that entire summer, I probably went live maybe like 7 or 8 times. Every single time I did, it was pixelated. There was no technical reason why. Like none. I was still hiding. But for me to come out and recognize, and I kept saying to this woman, like I had done things on stages, I'd done things in person. She's like, because you recognize that now your ability to reach people has just exponentially grown. So that potential of your reach is different than it would be if you were in the corner of Boston doing something, right, in person. Right. And so it's that it doesn't necessarily need to be how it materializes in front of you immediately. It's that first initial step of your soul and your mind coming together to say yes, and you actually operate in that way.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Isn't that incredible?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's incredible because I mean, as you're talking, I'm seeing different moments in my life and they're just walk through it, walk through it, walk through it, walk through it, because I'm feeling it within me and I'm like, just got to walk through it. Just got to
walk through it. And honestly, beautifully timed for you this weekend in that it does set you up for the next 10 months, because this is where we're dancing in possibility on one end and then in the responsibility and what does it take to do it? Because you have to make choice. There are things that you're going to have to give up when you're doing this and on this path, right? There are priorities that you're going to have to reset. There's reorientation and recalibration inside of you to be able to show up.
Yeah. And that's hard. And that is the hard step because we don't like to give up. We like to we want better. We want more. We always want there, but recognizing that some things have to go to the side. Some things have to be released for you to walk forward. And that's a struggle.
Oh, but it's so interesting to me. So interesting to me because a lot of the business leaders I talk to, the big thing that they say that they want is ease and freedom.
Right.
And I literally lean in and I go, really? I'm skeptical of that. Why? Because there is this more mentality, right? Like I will make, 7 figures, I'll make 8 figures, whatever the target is. I'm going to have a team of X. I'm going to have client roster of Y, right? I'm like, that doesn't speak of ease and freedom to me. When was the last time you actually were honest with yourself and really, truly attuned to that? Because you have manifested what you wanted in your life and it's been more. What about if you manifested, and I don't say less because I think they would literally short circuit. So I say different. I say really winnow down. What if we set those pillars in place that are so supportive of you and who you are and what your energy is? Because it's true. Yet people, when they think of less, they go,
yeah, they do. But sometimes less builds a really solid foundation for the more to sit on.
Less is more. Less is more. I mean, I literally burned my business to the ground last year. I had 8 people working with me. I had a big team. I had massive program. I had, by all intents and purposes, I had the success with all the metrics. Because I build a business the way I knew how to build a business. And for me, leadership, and it just really went aligned with my experience, and it made sense.
Right.
I didn't like it. Once Pluto hit Aquarius, literally to that week, I was like, I feel really I feel trapped. I feel everything feels really heavy. And then I had to ask myself, how am I wrong?
Mm-hmm.
I did that every day for a few months. How am I wrong?
Right.
So, and how I was wrong. Okay, you set up the wrong business. You set up a beautifully successful business, but at this time in your life, with these particular gifts, where the stars are right now, you could keep going and you could make it a success. But would it be your success? Would it be what you really are yearning for? Because when you look at what you're yearning for, there is more of that freedom. There is more of that ease. And this model isn't it.
Right.
So I literally switched my entire model.
Love that.
Yeah.
I love that, because I myself have come to that point, because I went, do I need to hire people? Do I need to do this? And I literally heard, no, you got to figure this out and then go out.
Yeah.
You might have to hire somebody for a specialty, but don't keep them around.
Yeah, no, and that's exactly what I have a beautiful model right now. I mean, I do have people that come in and out and whatever, and that just more fluid, and it serves them better. It serves me better. It serves my clients better. I am 1,000,000 times happier. I have a different rhythm, a different cycle. I've gone back to be as creative as I was before. I downloaded that deck of cards back in 2021.
Which I highlighted yesterday for everybody to know.
Which I produced
2 weeks ago. Sorry.
Yeah, which I produced in a week, which I was channeling fully.
Yeah.
I haven't done anything in 3 years from a creative aspect like that. I mean, yes, I have my programs, and I'm always creating, when I'm with clients and whatever. But now I'm writing a book because I have that freedom to do it. I have that space. I'm taking the next 2 weeks and I am not having any meetings. I have 5 of those weeks between now and December. I would not have had that opportunity in 2023. It wouldn't have presented itself. So for me, when I was looking at what I was yearning for, what I wanted to taste more of, it was creativity.
I love that. I love that for you. I think that's brilliant. It's amazing. I love that.
It feels really good.
So, Kim, how do they find you?
It's super easy. KimWoods.com. Super easy. Flows right on your tongue. You can spell it, right? So when you get, and someone,
I love it. You can spell it.
Right? No, true. I'm so lucky, right? So lucky the man I married had the last name of Woods. So when you go there, I was doing an interview with someone else from the Edge Network last week, and she said, "Oh my God, your website! I've got a podcast there. You can get all these episodes. I do ritual. I do all the things. I do like 8 to 10 a month. There's a blog. I do lots of writing because that's what I adore doing. There's a quiz that you can take. You can find out your own intuitive success signature. That's right there. Your star map to success.com is another way you can get to it. I guess I have a lot of free things on my website. I kind of forgot. So I have a shop, but I have all these free things. It talks about astrology. I have a free newsletter where I give a gift every month. So there are really easy ways to get into my world, depending on how you like to digest. If you like to read, if you like to write, if you like to listen, if you like to hear. So go to KimWoods.com.
I love it. And the whole time I'm thinking to myself, I need to find your web designer so that I can figure out how to do all that. Because right now I'm hiding under a website that is live, but it's still hiding because it just
I will
to host.
When we go off air, I will give you her name. Her whole thing now is that I've been working with her since 2020. She aligned soul design. She wants to work with the intuitive people.
Oh, I love that.
Isn't that yummy?
I love that. Beautiful. Well, Kim, thank you so much. I took you a few minutes over because of my wonderful intro that didn't get seen. Made us start all over again.
Absolutely.
And that's okay. I just taught me that some things need to be a little bit more simple.
Absolutely. Yep.
So beautiful. Thank you, Kim. Everybody else, thank you for coming in and joining us. Please find Kim on KimWoods.com for literally all your needs, just to make your life a little bit easier, a little bit simpler, and just to know where to go. We will see you next Monday morning here on School Thru Spirit, 9 a.m. on the Edge Network. Bye-bye, guys.
There are psychic mediums, but there is nothing like DeEtte. Let's face it, we all struggle time and again. But if you seek the clarity you deserve, then you need to seek DeEtte. As a master teacher, DeEtte studied under international psychic medium Lisa Williams. Together, they not only help DeEtte better tap into spirit, but also build a long-lasting relationship. So many psychics tell us what we want to hear, and that just won't cut it with DeEtte. She tells you what you need to hear. No sugarcoating here. To book a reading with DeEtte is simple. Just visit her website, deette.us. That's deette.us. And follow the Yellow Brick Road to connect with DeEtte. Don't just sit there and ponder those questions. Ask them and let DeEtte guide you every step of the way. You need insight now, and DeEtte can help. Just visit deette.us. That's DeEtte.